This is Jerry Mason, the Kickin Lawyer, and I'm inviting everyone to join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m. on the Kickin Lawyer fan page on Facebook for Law Talk Live, where we discuss business, politics, current events, and the law. If you miss the live version, you can watch the playback on YouTube or listen on your favorite podcast platform. All right, it's Jerry Mason, the Kickin Lawyer, and we are live for another Law Talk. I think we're live. Yeah, there we are now. I see it. And I want to remind you guys, if you haven't already, to like, subscribe, follow, etc. across podcast platforms, YouTube, and all the social media stuff. TikTok, Facebook, all that good stuff. We got a TikTok one, too. And I always talk about how Josh is going to dance. They'd probably rather see our guests today do some dancing. I don't know. We'll see. We had some good dancing at the Comic-Con, if you missed that, with a panda. It was wonderful. And then our 100th episode special fundraiser event is October 11th. We will have our 100th episode. It'll be really long and with different guests and surprises Josh has got set up. So hopefully you guys will join us for that October 11th. Always, we want to thank Michelle Allen. She's our longtime sponsor and your go-to for real estate. If you're buying, selling, renting real estate, Michelle Allen knows what's up. And of course, Mason's High Octane Martial Arts, located here in Covington since '93. If you want to learn to kick people in the throat and whatnot, we would be glad to teach you at Mason's High Octane Martial Arts. And then the Cellar Restaurant Prohibition Bar opens every day at 4 p.m. Today we have trivia. So after I do the podcast, I always run over there to do trivia. You guys can join us at any point. Lots of fun there. And, of course, Josh does Masonite Digital Marketing. If you need assistance with your online branding, social media, etc., Josh will be glad to help you. And joining me today, who I've gotten to know really, I knew her before, but got to know her a lot better from the Cellar, is Nicole Gamblin. I learned it's Jordan Nicole Gamblin.
Jordan Nicole.
Jordan Nicole, and it's Nikki is what I know you as. So how are you, Nikki?
I'm doing well. I can't complain.
Good, good. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to be on here with me. Now, we know each other. We've known each other a little bit before. And of course, you're in some of Josh's stuff. And then here are the most, how long has it been? 6, 8 months? How long have you been?
Since February.
So pretty much since we opened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've been the I would say, lead bartender at the Cellar restaurant.
I do my best.
And you do, I even named some stuff after you, the Nikki's Old Fashioned, because your Old Fashioned was so good. And I think people have come to expect you to be there too, which is good and bad, because now you're leaving.
I've already had my last day, but today is my last day.
Your last day.
2.0.
Yeah, well, we basically talked her into coming back tonight because it's always busy with trivia, and she agreed that's why we're doing this podcast early, by the way. So it's a little earlier than normal because we wanted Nikki to have a chance to go and trivia with us tonight. So how long did you do bartending? I never even asked you about that.
So I've actually been in the restaurant industry for about 8 years. It'll be 8 years in February. I served a lot more before, but whenever I started at Hooters, I kind of watched bartending and did a few day shifts here and there and just kind of picked up on it. And then the Cellar is actually the first place that I bartended full time.
Yeah.
I didn't serve at all.
Yeah, well, you did a great job at it.
Thank you.
And hey, on your mic, it's the side. So see, you've got it turn it back the way it was. No, the other way. Turn it the other way. Yes. And then it's this part here. So you want to be like a fist length from the side.
Right here?
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah. It was just a little quiet, and I know I'm loud, so I wanted people to be able to hear you. Well, so one thing that I'll say, you have really good people skills, which in my experience in doing multiple businesses that involve people, somebody like that's invaluable, and it's also skills that are difficult to teach people if they're good with dealing with people.
She learned a lot of those dealing with all the weirdos at GameStop.
She probably learned a lot dealing with Josh.
Yeah, I did work with Josh too.
Yeah. But so customer service skills are good, and you're also good at multitasking because you'll be back there and you getting the drinks, stuff and out, and then you've done really well at coming up with different drinks and stuff too. Like this past weekend, the superhero drinks. I think 3 of the 4 you had come up with. But let's talk about the bartending a little more, and then I want to talk about your husband too. You're a big hunky guy. This is the reason that we're losing you. But on the bartending, in your experience now at the Cellar, give me in your opinion, what's been one of the best things about it, and then I don't want to say that anything was the worst thing, but maybe something that wasn't like you expected it to be. being the head bartender?
Okay, the best I'd have to say is everybody I've worked with. It's really hard to find a place that you actually enjoy going to work and the people that you work with. And honestly, like, that's what I'm going to miss the most. Like, we're like a tight-knit family. We all look out for each other. And that's really hard to come by.
Yeah. I would agree with that. There's a good group that's there. And then what's something that, and again, it don't have to be negative, but something that's not what you thought it would be?
Honestly, how busy, like, we get on Fridays and Saturday nights. Like, I'm typically the type of person who can delegate and do well with, like, you know, getting things in order. And then, like, last Friday specifically, there was a time I looked down and I was like, what am I doing? I have no idea what I'm doing. And then I just kind of, like, took a deep breath and kept going because, I mean, I'm not even kidding. It was like 50 drinks between, like, 8 tickets, and I didn't even know where to start. I'd never been, you know, just bamboozled like that. But we got through it, and nobody complained.
Yeah, no, that night, because I come up there that night, James called me wigging out, because that was the night that we had a party of 60 that we didn't realize was coming in. And they did tell me, by the way. Like, they had told me, but they had told me 7 months ago.
Yeah.
And it got wrote down, and in the process of all this transition the last few months, it just didn't make it to that reservation list. So it's I'll take the blame, but ultimately it really wasn't anyone's fault.
Oh,
but,
no, they were super happy with how
Yeah,
well
yeah,
we
they were real
accommodated.
pleased. I thought James and everybody did a really good job trying to get that, because I think it ended up, it was like 180 people
Yeah, all at
that
once.
came through there for like a 2-hour period, which is crazy. Which is why we highly recommend you have a reservation if you're coming on Friday or Saturday. We have the live music on Friday, and Saturday, even without live music, has been slammed. So, or you come then, but you can also come on the off nights when it's not quite as busy.
Yeah, if you don't like the hustle bustle.
Yeah. Well, we had one. There was this one couple. I'd say couple. It was 2 older ladies, and one of the servers came and got me because I'm usually handling whatever if there's any issues, and they wanted to talk to me. So I come around there, and the problem was they wanted it to be somewhere quieter. They wanted to be quiet, and we had the live music on the one side, the huge party of 60 on the other side. I mean, and it was kind of loud. And we had, I mean, turning the music up or down was irrelevant. They were on the side without the music, and I felt bad for the one lady because she said, all day I've been dealing with my grandchildren, and I came here and was hoping to just have a quiet dinner. I'm like, well, ma'am, you're at the wrong spot if you want it to be quiet. And so we offered to set them on the table by the bar, but it's right in front of the music. I mean, it wasn't going to be any quieter. So anyway, yeah. So if you're looking for a quiet place on Friday and Saturdays, we're not it unless you rent the private room. And in this case, the private room is already booked up. So it is what it is. So on your drinks, and you know, I think I know the answer to this, but like you'll come up with good drinks, like when you were doing the Iron Man thing, and then that night I was there, I was like, it's good, I'm gonna sell these Iron Man drinks, right? And then you got to make all these Iron Man drinks. Well, those seemed a little more involved. If you had to pick, like, what's your favorite drink to make, and then what's like the hardest drink to make and stuff?
Okay, so my favorite would definitely have to be like the Bee's Knees or the French 75, and that's simply because we use that Empress gin, and it's like a really pretty indigo lavender color. And just watching people's face when they get it, they're like, you know, they don't expect it to be purple because nowhere in the description does it say it's purple. And I mean, how often do you see purple drinks?
Yeah.
So I like that one because just seeing people's reaction. And then the hardest, I hate making chocolate martinis.
Really?
Yes.
That would seem like it wouldn't be that difficult.
I don't know why. I just hate it. I'm like, it's terrible.
I was going to say, you're like, what? And have you do the motion, but we're not going to do that. So anyway, so the chocolate martini, but why? Because of the...
I don't know.
Because it's not a lot. And so you guys, I think I talked about this when we first got in the restaurant. You know, I went to bartending school. Did I tell you that?
That's a terrible idea.
It was a terrible idea. It was a complete waste of money.
It is.
But I knew that I didn't know anything about the bar side. I didn't know anything about any of it, honestly, at the beginning. So I was just trying to learn what I could learn. And I'd always heard that in restaurant businesses, one of the places you lose money is the bar. You can make money or lose money at the bar. So I was like, I'll go learn myself. I'll be a bartender myself. So I went to the school. But anyway, like, isn't it like chocolate liqueur? It's got like Hershey syrup.
Ours is you take your martini glass and you line it with Hershey's syrup. And then you take a cocktail shaker, you put ice. We use Tito's vodka, Godiva dark chocolate liqueur, some Baileys, and I put a little bit of like the actual chocolate syrup and a little half and half in mine just to make it a little creamier.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as thick.
Yeah.
And shake it and then just strain it into the martini glass. I mean, they're really popular. People really like them. They're a great dessert martini. I don't know. I think it's just lining the martini glass with the chocolate. I don't know why.
Well, to me, that's easier than like the salt rim you do on a lot of them, or sugar rim.
I don't know what it is about it. It's not hard.
Uh-huh.
It's just tedious. And not even like tedious. It's just, I'm like, oh, I got to put this chocolate in here.
Well, so what about the old fashioned that you do? Because I started calling it Nikki's Old Fashioned.
Yeah, people order it that way.
And it was because I know, because that's what it is. Well, and I'll tell you why I did that. And I saw after the fact, other people we had coming in there were doing the same thing you were doing, or at least attempting to. But it's because I had never had one where they actually do the old school muddling the sugar and everything, right?
And that's how I teach people. Like, whenever I was training behind the bar, I'm like, this is how we do it. Like, don't use simple syrup.
Well, it's a different experience than the simple syrup. So if you haven't had one tonight, we'll try to have them after the fact. But tonight's the last time to get it from Nikki in old fashioned.
I actually have people who prefer if I make it. Like, if I'm behind the bar, they're like, I want her to do it.
Yeah, no, I do. I agree. I think it does make a difference. I think the percentage, however you do it, is for some reason I don't like old fashions.
I do it with anger.
Is that what it is? Before I had yours, I didn't like old fashions.
Oh,
and then
thanks,
yours is the only old, because I drink bourbon neat. You know, I come and get my own bourbon, right? And I'll drink just straight bourbon. But I will drink an old fashioned that you do because it's just better for whatever reason.
And then I've actually gotten James to get a couple of different bitters just to like test out the different ones. And most of the time in the ones that I make, I use like Angostura bitters, which is, you know, what is the normal recipe. But we've gotten some botanical ones, and those are really popular. The other really popular ones we had were spiced apple, and I ran out of those, like making them for Dave.
Yeah, Dave likes them too. The on the old fashioned though, you might have an opinion on this. I don't know that it matters what liquor is used. I know people will order it with this liquor or this high-end liquor. To me, when you've mixed it, I don't know, it loses the effect to me. Like, you could almost do it with Kentucky Deluxe, and I would probably like it, I think. I'm guessing. I haven't used it with Kentucky Deluxe. But what do you think? Do you notice a difference? 'Cause you sample them sometimes.
A lot of people would order them with Knob Creek. I don't know if I don't know what Knob Creek tastes like, to be completely honest with you, because I don't like bourbon.
It's good.
Is it like a sweeter?
I don't know. To me, all bourbons are a little sweeter. So it's more like on the bourbons for me, it's more like the heat. You know what the proof is, and then depending on the heat, how smooth it is at that alcohol level. That's why I really like our house Blue Note.
We have a lot. Like lately, people have been ordering it with the Blue Note specifically.
Yeah, and I mean, I like the regular Blue Note, but specifically that barrel we bought that's 122 proof. It's just hot enough, but then still got a nice taste. There's not a bad aftertaste, and it's very smooth. So I don't know. I don't know that I can really. I like Knob Creek. There's several of them there that I like. Elijah Craig, that 18-year that we have is good. But I don't know that when you mix it with something, if it really makes that big a difference.
I feel like people might be ordering it with our Cellars Blue Note because it has that heat. But when you muddle that sugar cube, it kind of tames it a little bit.
That's a good point. So I've never asked you this. You personally, what do you drink?
I like rum.
Do you?
Yeah.
So like any rum-based drink, cocktail, or?
Yeah, I don't like over-the-top fruity. I do not like Captain Morgan Spice Rum because for whatever reason it tastes like bananas to me, and I don't think that you should put bananas in drinks. But that's my opinion. I like that, and then I'm really big on sour beers, like some kind of, I don't know how they do it. It's like different fruit flavors, and they have so there's one, it's sour gummy worms, and it tastes just like sour gummy worms. But
it's a beer?
And then I like Gozas, which is a beer that's brewed with salt and coriander. It's a German-style beer. It's kind of sour, too. There's terrapin watermelon. They have it at Nafy's. But
they actually have a pretty good selection at Nafy's.
They do. I buy my beer from Nafy's.
Yeah, they have a good selection of beer and wine, and then in the completely separate business, whiskey business, they have a pretty good bourbon selection in there.
Yeah, that's where I went and got that scotch the other day.
Oh, is that right? So now that you're moving to another step in your life, And you can tell us about that. As much as you want to, because it's personal. But you're relocated, and why and everything.
So we're actually kind of still up in the air about the final day because we're just kind of taking it as it goes. But we're moving to St. Louis because my husband is starting chiropractic school. He's going to go make big bucks. So.
And you were telling me it's not just chiropractic school, but actually when he graduates, he's
he'll kind of be like a primary care physician.
It's a doctor of
it's a DOC.
DOC, Doctor of Chiropractic
Medicine.
So a DOC then can still prescribe medicine and stuff?
I think it depends on, there's like different classes that he can take and different levels. Because whenever he goes, he's also going to get his master's in kinesiology, which is sports science, which is what his degree is in. So he wants to mainly focus on like sports chiropractic medicine.
I got you.
But the way that they teach them at Logan is so fast paced. Like it's he'll be done in 3 years. And they teach them all these different levels. And to be completely honest, whenever we went through orientation, I feel like they go over the body and everything that deals with it more than they really do in med school. Because before, Matt was going to go to med school, and he was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I want to focus on my degree. I went to school to get this degree. I want to be able to use it. So he'll be able to, like, refer out if he ever wanted to have his own practice. Like, if they needed, like, I can look at you and tell something's wrong, but there's nothing in my expertise that I can do to help you. I can refer you out to like a heart doctor or, like a whatever doctor. So he would have the ability to do that.
I see. Well, when we talked briefly before, what I thought you were saying years ago, when I was promoting fights, I was doing MMA and kickboxing matches, and depending on the state, we had to have a physician ringside, and I was in Missouri doing a fight, and I didn't have any contacts like I do here. Like here, I never had any trouble getting people to help doctors or whatever because I knew so many people. But in Missouri, nobody knew me. I didn't know anybody. So we finally found a guy who was a DOO, a doctor of osteopathic medicine.
DO, because after he decided he didn't want to go to med school, it was a toss-up between DO school and chiropractic, and he chose chiropractic.
Well, anyway, this guy tells me that, this is before I was an attorney. I was a cop, I think, still at the time. But this guy tells me that, because the Missouri law said it had to be an MD. So he says, well, they have to treat us the same. That the DO is the same as an MD, and there's literally federal law that says that. And so I ended up having to do some research, and he was right. A DO was the same as an MD. I had never heard of it, though.
So they basically go to school for the same exact things, except for instead of being he'd be whatever MD, he'd be, his name and OD. But it's more homeopathic.
Yeah, that's what this guy said.
Manipulation therapy, which is kind of like chiropractic. So, I mean, it's all kind of the same, like... It
was more like a holistic approach to medicine, I think.
It is.
Was what he said.
Like your body as a whole.
Yeah. And so anyway, in that case, the guy did come, and it was fine. It complied with everything. But that was my first experience I can remember, because I thought the guy was full of it. I didn't know what a DO was.
Yeah.
And I was like, no.
People think that about chiropractors, too.
Yeah. Well, if you look, let's talk about that. You're not necessarily a chiropractor. And, of course, I've had Jason Cannon on. He's a friend of mine. And Clint Rogers, too. I know a lot of chiropractors. And Brett Beasley. They're all great dudes.
Clint wrote Matt's letter of recommendation for Logan.
Well, they're all great. They're great at what they do. And I think it's legit. And I've gone on the record saying that, so back in when I was fighting professionally, I hurt myself real bad lifting weights, actually getting ready for, I was doing like power cleans or something. Messed my back up. And I remember I would go sit in the patrol car, and you have to wear the duty belt and everything, and it would hurt so bad, my back. And I'd get out and try to move, I'd have to stop. I couldn't sit for long. Like it was an injury. So I go to the doctor, and they want to do surgery on me.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I've heard all these horror stories about fusing your back. I'm still young. I think I was 24 or 5 at the time. So I wanted to, so I went to the chiropractor. And it wasn't, I think, 1 or 2 sessions, no pain. Like I was good to go. Like whatever it is, whether it's real, whatever it was, voodoo, I don't know.
It's voodoo.
It was effective. But then if you look at the history of chiropractic medicine, it's a little questionable the way it started out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you're familiar, but...
Well, it's like people have joked, like, and asked him, oh, well, why do you have to move? Can't you find, like, a witch doctor here to teach you? And it's like...
I asked him why he had to move, but I didn't say it was witch doctor, I talked to Jason Cannon about that. I was shocked till I talked to you guys. I didn't know
Yeah.
that Tennessee didn't have a school of
There's
chiropractic
only
here.
like 25 in the whole like United States.
That's crazy. Because I know Jason is hiring them left and right. He's trying. I mean, he's growing leaps and bounds.
So I had like a similar experience after I had my son. Like my hips were out of line, my spine was twisted, like I just had some really bad scar tissue, and I went to the chiropractor, and I mean, immediately felt better. And that's the first time I'd ever been, and it's the first time I've ever had like my neck popped. Matt could hear it like 3 doors down.
Yeah.
And ooh.
Well, again, I don't know what they do or don't do. I just know that for me it was effective. It at least it gave me some relief and made me feel better. And so I think for some people it can be effective. And I'm sure it's like everything else.
So,
it's going to work for some and maybe not for others.
The way that Matt's explained it to me, you have people who believe, like they go in and they learn and they're like, this is for like musculoskeletal, Skeletor. Mm-hmm.
I got him over here somewhere. There he is right there.
Oh, yeah, see?
Skeletor.
Yeah, him. It's like injuries like that, like sports-related injuries or, birth or anything like that, that it helps that. Like, then you have some chiropractors who are like, oh, chiropractic medicine can cure cancer. Like, those are the types of people who make chiropractors look like quacks and give people bad names. And that's not, not all chiropractors think that. Like, he doesn't. He's like, I'm going in this to, for him, sports. But, you have other people, which, I mean, there are some kind of crazy stuff that chiropractor can help, like they help with allergies, it helps with fertility, it helps with like Jackson has a lip tie and they do something called craniosacral therapy, and it's basically where they like adjust like, and it helps a lip tie. Like, it's crazy how that all works, but to go as far as to say like it can cure this, that, and the other, like that's not always the case.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely something to it. I mean, it wouldn't be as effective or as widespread as it is now if it wasn't.
So Tennessee is actually, I think, number 2 state for the amount of chiropractic, doctors per people or whatever. And it's also the second highest paying, I think.
That's good. I didn't know that. Does insurance cover it usually or sometimes?
They do some stuff, but they don't do everything.
What I was going to say about your husband, I mean, obviously he's a smart fella. And I've known him too previously from talking to you guys. But anyway, he's a real nice guy, real gentle giant. And it's so funny to me because he was in the bar there. He's been free labor. That's why I hate. One of the reasons we hate losing you guys don't know, but her husband has been there.
He's my bar back.
Yeah, and he's been in the bar with her working, and we don't pay him. He's just there.
No, he just washes my dishes.
Yeah, he's a great help. I like having him, and he's a nice guy. Plus, he's a big guy, which is sometimes useful if you're trying to,
he like has had to.
Yeah, so last week was it last week or the week before last?
It was the week before.
Week before last. There were some young gentlemen in the bar, and I was nearby, and I don't want anybody to be uncomfortable, staff or otherwise. I want everybody to have fun, but at the same time, come on, I'm not gonna let people be rude or disrespectful to you. So these guys made some comments to Nikki, and the later the night one in particular, it was getting a little too much. And so I almost said something to him, but her husband's right there. And then, of course, he hears this, and I don't know that the guy put 2 and 2 together that it was your husband. But I kept waiting, and I was like, oh. And look, just to be honest, so the guy saying this, one of the guys works for me in another business. And I was like, so I told your husband, I was like, look, man, just make sure he can walk Monday. Like, I need him to be able to walk. So if you're going to put a whooping on him, you just, let him walk. And he was like, it's okay. So he's very, and I've struggled with that my whole life. Like especially with my wife, when somebody says something inappropriate, my personality ends up challenging some of that, and things can deteriorate. And he handled it very well, very professionally. I mean, plus the guy wasn't a threat. It's not like the guy had a shot, but
I think it's funny because I don't know. And then when women flirt with Matt, it's hilarious because he gets so uncomfortable. And
there was a couple in there that asked about him and didn't realize you were his wife.
There's this one lady at the table, and I said something about, oh yeah, that's my husband behind the bar, and she was like, oh, well, this 50-year-old lady thought that he was really attractive, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll go tell him that. Like, it doesn't bother me. I think it's hilarious because he gets so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
When we used to own our axe throwing business, like, there was a group of ladies. It was like a bachelorette party.
Uh-huh.
And, oh, my God, you look like Jason Momoa. You
Uh-huh.
look like, Khal Drago, blah, 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 blah. Because when Matt grows his hair out, I mean, he's like Walmart brand Jason Momoa.
This is like Budget Batman.
Yeah.
Budget Jason Momoa.
So they were like, can we please take our selfie? Can we take a selfie with you? Can we take a selfie with you? And, he kind of like calmly went, oh, my wife's up at the front desk, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, no, you go right ahead. You take as many selfies as you want. And just he was so uncomfortable.
Madeline gets, not that I don't get, the people that I get hit on by are clearly not threats, I would think. And so she thinks it's funny.
It's super
But
funny.
it's because we had a sort of a running joke that the only people that hit on me were either over 50 or over 400 pounds, one of the two. That was it. That's all that would, or a dude, show interest in. Which the dudes, honestly, and they're usually like good-looking dudes, so I don't guess that's a bad thing, But that's pretty much, Madeline thinks it's hilarious if any of them do that.
It is.
Guys are different, though. That's why I'm impressed by the way Matt handled it, is he didn't seem to get
Oh, no.
aggressive.
Matt knows I could handle myself if I needed to.
Yeah. Well, you don't have a problem putting folks in their place
no.
when you need to.
No.
Yeah. That's a skill I think you got to have in the position that you're in too, because you're going to deal with so many people, especially people that are are enjoying drinks and stuff.
Like, this is like a walk in the park compared to like other places I've worked.
So what are you doing next? I know you got kids and stuff over there too, but do you know what's next in St. Louis?
I think I'm gonna try to find somewhere to bartend.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of different places I've looked at, and actually I've gone and sat and been a customer at to see how the workflow is and everything like that. I still don't really have anything narrowed down, but it'll be that because.
Well, you could always just drive back on the weekends and work at the cellar.
That's what everybody keeps telling me. I think James has already asked me if I could bartend one day in October.
Yeah, well, seriously though, I mean, you've been an asset with us, so we all talked about how we hate to see you go.
Yeah,
so.
he was like, "I'm not taking you out of the system."
Yeah,
I was
that's
like,
right.
okay.
You've always got a place, like Cheers.
I do.
Yeah.
Just come work one random weekend.
Yeah. So, you said you didn't know for sure what day y'all are moving, but it's in the next couple of weeks. Have you lived? You haven't, other than visiting, you've never lived in Missouri, or have you lived in any other state?
No, just Tennessee.
Just Tennessee.
No.
That's how did you? Was the way you met Josh was through GameStop?
Mm-hmm. He was my boss.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
But he let everybody else know that I was the boss.
Yeah, she bossed me around, even though I was supposed to technically be her boss. She was the one giving the orders. So.
Josh always sent people my way.
Yeah.
How did that work, being a female in that store?
Oh, I saw firsthand for her how it was. She had to deal with a lot of weirdos. We had a lot of customers that would come in exclusively
for me
to see Nikki. Yeah, and
yeah. So did y'all come to the convention this weekend? The comic book.
I was at work.
Oh yeah. That's right. You were Scarlet Witch Saturday. Yeah, it was a good outfit. Yeah. So one thing that's interesting on the Comic Cons is that ladies can make good money just by showing up. Like, there are a lot of women when you go to these comic conventions who, they may do like some Instagram modeling or whatnot, but they're not like professional models at it. It's just when they go there, a lot of these people that attend these conventions, a lot of these guys that attend these conventions just fall over themselves to get to be around a woman.
One year I was Josh's booth babe at MCFC, and whenever after I got done doing that, I changed into my Mira costume. Replace Amber Heard with me.
Hey, it can happen. Can happen.
So, you can ask Josh. People were like, "Can we take our picture with you? Can we take our picture with you?" They were going crazy, and Josh was like, "You should charge for your pictures." And I was like,
that's what a lot of the
I didn't know I
cosplay
could
girls
do that.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of them though, it's I'm not saying it necessarily to make fun of these guys that are struggling with self-esteem issues and stuff. But I've seen you interact with guys that had interest in you, but maybe didn't have the confidence to say they did. And you do a really good job at making everybody feel comfortable. I
try my best. I don't think I'm better than anybody or anything like that. So I'll always try to make people
Well, I can see you.
I can read the room.
I could see you doing that though, even at these conventions with folks, because a lot of it is just. It's not even necessarily a sexual or a negative thing. It's just the opportunity to be around somebody. I think a lot of guys struggle just because they don't know how to approach someone to get in a relationship.
Well, I think that a lot of guys don't realize that, girls like to cosplay too.
Yeah, no. that may be a good opportunity for people. You know what's so terrible? I had never cosplayed before until this Budget Batman thing. And it was a joke because I don't like Batman.
I know. I made you a Superman drink.
Yes, thank you. Like, oh, I got a Superman tattoo. Like, my stuff's all Superman. But the Budget Batman thing I thought was a good way to, promote the Comic-Con. I'm making fun of myself, like on a lot of the stuff. It's self-deprecating humor, and people like that. But the problem now is, like, at this convention, when I was going around, all the vendors were trying to sell me Batman stuff. Mm-hmm. They were like, hey, look, I got this.
Well,
and I'm like, man, I don't like Batman.
Yeah, the problem is they take it all seriously. Just like I was dressing up like Creepy Panda Guy. And in some way, like, don't get me wrong, I'm a big supporter of cosplayers and all that. But, like, the reality of it is I was dressing up like Creepy Panda Guy because it's kind of a way to poke fun at the people who do dress up as big furry animals. And then other people take it seriously. Like, oh, that's so cool and noble of Josh that he's dressing up as this large animal. And I'm like, I'm actually kind of making fun of you guys. So, But anyway, it's just in a convention space, it's like they take it a little seriously.
Well, so I'm torn on the making fun of folks and stuff. The public persona is don't bully, don't pick on people, but some people should be bullied.
Some people know how to, like, you need to know how to joke yourself.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to dress up like a My Little Pony and you're a 50-year-old dude, I'm struggling to not make fun of you.
I had on my Scarlet Witch
I'm
costume,
cool with it.
And at least twice, they were like, are you supposed to be the devil? And I'm like, no, I'm Scarlet Witch. Like,
yeah, but they didn't know Scarlet Witch. No, but look, there was this dude. Let me fix that because I'm going to get canceled. I don't know if the guy was transitioning or what to a woman, but he was dressed up like a My Little Pony. Okay, now he was pink and it was all pink, and he was definitely trying to be sort of effeminate or whatnot. And I'm Budget Batman. Well, my Budget Batman character is very sarcastic, very over the top. You're blessed to be in my presence, this kind of stuff. It's just that's how I play it, to be over the top and try to be funny. And it'd be funny in that it's an ill-fitting costume and, cheesy. Anyway, that's just the character. So anyway, I was going around to all the cosplay people trying to get pictures as Budget Batman to put on our Covington Comic-Con websites and stuff and use for promotions in the next year. And so I went up to the group of My Little Ponies, and the guy, I was like, hey, your day is made. Dreams do come true. Budget Batman's here to take a selfie. And he goes, I would never take a photo with you. And I was like, but I'm Budget Batman. Why would you not take a photo? And I had Jude, my kid, was taking the pictures, right? And I look at Jude. Jude looked at me because nobody had said no, And I don't want to be rude, because he's taking pictures. They were taking pictures with other people, but for whatever reason, they didn't want. And so,
yes, because taking a photo with Budget Batman is far more embarrassing than being in your 50s dressing like My Little Pony.
So then I go, he had a animal in his pocket, and I go, oh, I see you have a pet. And like pointed at his pocket, and he was like, are you trying to look at my pet? Like I was looking, and I'm like, you're a dude, just trying to make conversation about this outfit. And he was like, what did he say about his pet? He said it's whatever it is. And I'm like, oh, you're keeping it close to your heart, I see, or something like that. And then he's like, I'm done with you. And he turns around, and I'm like, and so I got a picture of the My Little Pony guy running away and me Budget Batman. So
you scared somebody, Jerry.
I didn't mean to. I was just trying to be nice and make conversation.
Yeah.
So, but my point was, like, I'm not saying that guy needs to be made fun of. That's not what I'm saying. But it's a little funny, Like, I was fine with him. Budget Batman's funny.
Yeah.
I'm too big to be in that outfit. I get, like, sweaty boobs here. The back end of it's busted out. The back end, I had to get a new piece of fabric. Like a purple piece of fabric in the tail end. I actually wear the trunks backwards because they didn't fit. They're too tight. So it makes me like there's some split going on. It's just rough looking. I get it. It's funny, So make fun of me. I don't care. It's all good. I think you got to, but that, I do understand that takes a level of self-confidence that some people struggle with.
Oh, yeah.
Like approaching ladies or vice versa. It takes a certain level of confidence.
Oh, no. Like Josh can attest to that at GameStop. You'd have people.
My favorite, Nikki, was the one that came in and grabbed your name tag lanyard and yanked you toward him using the lanyard. And
he wanted to know what my name was.
Yeah, what's your name?
I could have just told him. So after Josh actually left GameStop, he gave me his name tag, which wasn't a lanyard. It actually went on my shirt, and I never changed the name on it. So it still said Josh.
So your name is also Josh, not just Jordan or Nick?
No, it's Josh as well.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. I try to be very nice and respectful of people, but you know, I'm sure you have at times had to put people in their place in comments they make at the restaurant. They're bartending, so.
There's actually I haven't had to deal with really too many people. One person kept flirting with me, and I was like, I'll be sure to let my husband know.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize you were married. I'm like, did you not notice the ring on my finger?
He didn't care. Yeah. So I don't know.
You had a lot at GameStop that couldn't take the hint, though, because I remember we had several, specifically when you were working both there and at Hooters, that would come to Hooters to visit you.
Yes.
And they would show up at the same time. Yeah.
They would come to Hooters, and then they knew I worked at the Covington GameStop, too. And, I would see them in the Covington GameStop. I'd be like, just following me? Or, what is it?
I guess as long as they don't end up at your house.
No,
right.
I didn't have to deal with that. No, I think the funniest stuff, though, was while I was working there, I mean, I could sell anything to anybody.
Yeah.
Didn't even
Oh,
me.
yeah. No, so anytime
I told
we would
Leah
have...
about that the other night.
Yeah, anytime we'd have women working for us at GameStop, they would outdo us on the power-up cards and the reservations and all the metrics they would
and
track
see, and this
us
is
on.
where I get frustrated with the way the politically correct stuff is going now. If I sit here and I say, because you're an attractive woman, that gives you an advantage in sales, they're like, oh no, that's a bigoted thing, that's a sexist thing, why would you say that? But it's true that, especially, it depends on the environment too, but I think that generally women can, I mean, it's something you use. It's nothing wrong with, it's not anything wrong with that either, that it's an advantage. It's like I was telling Leah, who's kind of being trained up, her and Kira, to bartend and hopefully kind of cover the loss of you. But I was saying they were worried about, what if I mix this drink this way wrong? I was like, look, I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah.
You can make the crappiest drink in the world, and if it's a dude you're giving it to, he's going to think it's great, it's wonderful, it's gonna. Now, if I made it, he'd be like, this has got too much da-da-da.
And that's one of the things I told him, too. I was like, regardless of what you do, when you're behind the bar, you just have to look confident.
Yeah.
You could be like, no, I made this wrong. But
that
as
is a
long
very
as you
good
look
point, though,
confident-
because aside from actual physical appearance or people being attracted to you, one of the things that I think a quality that can make someone much more attractive than they are physically is confidence. If you're confident at what you do, and that's in a lot of stuff, like if you're in any leadership position and you want people to follow you, you have to, there has to be an anchor in the storm, and it's the person that seems to know what they're doing at least that's confident. So, yeah, that's a really good point, is always to appear confident.
Yeah, I was like, when you're behind the bar, just exude confidence. Even if you know for a fact you made it wrong.
Yeah.
And, if it's wrong and they don't like it, just make it again. No big deal. It can be fixed.
Yeah. I mean, on the drinks, that's easy. And then some of them are going to like them and some of them won't. They'll like different stuff. So it's all good. I was going to ask you, Josh, since we haven't really done any close-up on the Comic-Con, who was your favorite cosplay over the weekend?
It was Budget Batman.
It was between either the My Little Pony Brony group or the group of 3 random furries that came through. One of those two.
Now there was a couple. I thought John Wood's
no, seriously,
Deathstroke
John
was
Wood's
very good.
Deathstroke was probably top of my list.
It's very good. I thought there was a couple of them that were pretty good. That Sailor Moon looked like Sailor Moon. Who else? Then so you missed it, Nikki. On Sunday we did the costume contest Saturday. On Sunday we had because we still want to do something for the cosplayers. We had them all come on the stage, and then they were going to do. It was supposed to be during the time when it was supposed to be a Budget Batman, Trouble the Clown, Peter Prankster dance off. But Peter Prankster didn't want to do a dance-off, and Trouble the Clown was like, I'm a Trouble the Clown, I don't dance type thing. So what I did was I had the cosplayers up there and decided we would do a Covington Comic-Con Congo line, led by me with Creepy Panda Guy at the back. And so we started dancing around the whole thing, like in a Congo line. And this guy, he's 40-something for sure. And he may have a few issues. He was behind me, and he was dressed as a giant rabbit, like a big. What was it from a game or something, right?
Raving Rabbit from Raymond's Raving Rabbits.
Oh
Yeah, and so giant rabbit guy. He's got his hands on my shoulders behind me. So Budget Batman is dancing along, and I didn't realize me and the rabbit guy had gotten away from everybody. So there's one part where I'm like, break it down, and it's just Budget Batman butt dancing with this big old white rabbit guy. So anyway, that was probably worth the price of admission for people that came. It was definitely an awkward experience. And then the rest of them caught up. That some of them were a little slower than others, and they caught up. And yes, it was an experience.
Yeah,
So,
I think I put on the Covington Comic Con page when I posted the video of it. I said it was definitely a thing that happened. I didn't
This
say
is
whether
the
it was
thing
good
that
or
happened.
bad. Yeah, I was like, yeah, the conga line, the cosplay conga line, was a thing that definitely happened.
I think everybody enjoyed it though.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. Everybody overall, I think, liked
I
it.
love seeing all the little kids.
Yeah, no, and the kids are great too, and they were some of them went all out, but most of them were traditional superheroes or maybe like an anime thing or something that
we
they
had
had.
Budget Superman was also there. Yeah.
Well, he was Superman, so
I love when like little kids get into stuff like that. That's what makes me so happy about Jackson. Like he is super into like all the things that me and Matt are into, and it makes me really proud. Except for whenever he's playing a game and he's like, "You don't know how to play this,"
yeah.
and I'm like, "Kid, if only you knew."
So there was an experience I had. I thought I put it in my pocket. I must have had it in my other pants. I switched pants today already, so that's weird. But anyway,
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about what happened. Like,
yeah. Well, I'm constantly if I try to work out and then swap back up and then and then like tonight I'm gonna have to change for the suit for the seller and the whole deal. Anyway, I was gonna say that you're talking about the little kids. So I was in this budget Batman character, and I forget what time it was. It was Saturday, though. It was the busiest day, Saturday. And this little girl comes up to me, and she was probably 5 or 6, a little bitty kid. And she's trying to hand me this tiny dinosaur, this little dinosaur. It's a blue dinosaur, like a yellow belly or whatever. And she hands it to me. Well, I don't have pockets or anything. Plus, I'm not going to take a kid's toy. So she's handing me this little dinosaur, and I go, well, what is that for? And she's like, I'm giving it to you. It's your colors. She said, it's got your colors. And I'm like, well, that's very observant of you. It's definitely my colors. And I go, well, unfortunately, citizen, I don't have any pockets. So you just keep your toy, you know. And I could tell she was a little disappointed. I could also tell I didn't like pick on her like I would normally with folks because I could tell it was a big deal that she came up to me as a little kid. So, you know, we had the interaction. She walks away. So like an hour or so later, I had changed clothes again, and I was sitting on the steps. And I remember I was dealing with some problem. There was some, I don't remember if it was a law firm issue or a Comic-Con issue on my phone. Somebody had sent me, and I was trying to deal with it. And then the same little girl walks up to me, and she's handing this dinosaur to me again. And I go, it struck me because, like, when I'm in that costume, I was surprised at how many people don't recognize me.
Yeah.
Like, they don't know it's me. I act different, I guess, for one thing, and then I guess I look different, and they don't know that it's me. And I didn't, as far as I know, this little kid doesn't know it's me. Well, so she comes up, and she's handing me the dinosaur, and I go, what is that? What's that for, sweetie? And she's like, it's for you. And I said, I'm not going to take your toy. You know, I said, that's your toy. Thank you, but, you know, you keep your toy. And she said, but you're Batman. Like, whispered that I was Batman. And I could tell that little kid, her whole world was, this is Batman.
Yeah.
You know, Batman's here, and this is our secret. Nobody else knows that it's Batman. So I thanked her, and I took the little dinosaur, and I said that I was going to keep it as good luck now is what I was thinking. Because what it did for me is, like me and Josh talking about these folks, it kind of taught me that, you know, for those kids, this is a huge deal.
Oh, yeah.
The wonder of a child, and it's so fragile. Because, like, if I didn't do the interaction right as an adult, in her world, I wasn't some 43-year-old dude dressed as Batman. You know, this was Batman.
Yeah.
And so you have to be careful with that fragility. It's so innocent and fragile, the wonder of a child. So, yeah, you're right. I love seeing those kids there, too. And I tried to really play it up anytime I saw the kids.
Same kind of like thing that happened with Jackson for, I think it was his 5th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So he loves Marshmello, like the DJ.
Uh-huh. I don't know who
And-
that is.
Yeah.
It's got a big marshmallow head.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like
okay.
a pumpkin face on a marshmallow head kind
Yeah,
of.
Look it
that's,
up, Jerry.
that's weird. All right, anyway.
So he like loves him. He was in Fortnite. He likes his music. Well, my brother also loves Marshmello and just so happened to have a Marshmello costume. So my brother, aka Marshmello, came to Jackson's 5th birthday party, and Jax had no idea.
He
That-
said, I got marshmallow here.
Yes, I mean, when I tell you, like, he wanted me to take pictures, and then anytime we were, like, around any of his little friends, he was like, Mama, show him the pictures, Marshmello came to my birthday party. And, like, I've never seen my child speechless. Like, Jackson talks 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
And he was, like, he cried. because it meant so much to him that Marshmallow came to his birthday party.
Aw.
And it was so sweet because you're like, oh my gosh, like you said, like the innocence of a child, like that did it for him. Like that was the thing. I was the coolest mom ever. And then for his 6th birthday party, my brother wasn't able to come. So he texted Jackson from his work phone and was acting like Marshmallow. And it's like, to this day, he's like, Mama, just text Marshmallow. You have his phone number.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, that's not how that works.
Well, that's why, like, it's we've had Buff City Batman on, and then had the DeSoto County Ghostbusters on, and I think even what's his name, Kevin, the guy that does is Heroes of Lotus Night or whatever.
Kenneth Dunn.
Kenneth Dunn. Yeah, I think they do it too. A lot of those groups, especially like Bluff City Batman and DeSoto County Ghostbusters, what they do is they're nonprofits, and any money they raise goes towards buying equipment and vehicles to help facilitate going to children that are either children in need or children that are terminally ill or sick or whatever, and appearing as the Ghostbusters or as Batman. And I think Bluff City Batman is even doing a thing now where he's got other superheroes with him that go and do that. And, initially when I heard it as an adult, I was like, oh, it's, their chance to dress up or whatever. But if you think about it from the perspective of a child, that's a huge deal that they get to see this superhero there.
I think my brother got just as much out of it as Jackson did.
Yeah.
Like, it made him feel so good.
Yeah.
And, like, they flossed and did other Fortnite dances. And, like, I was like, what can I do for you? He was like, nothing. He's like, I got to see my nephew happy. And he was like, that's enough.
Yeah.
And
well, I think that my point is that I think that folks that go do that's something that's a need. Because these little kids, if it gives them an uplift, or it's kind of like if they see Santa Claus, it's a magical moment for them. Yeah. And anyway, I think it's a good thing. And I think that if there is a good use for cosplay, that is definitely one of them. If you go out of your way and show up somewhere to uplift the spirits, especially of kids.
When we went to the con one year, MCFC, Matt actually dressed up as Aquaman. And the amount of, like, little kids that ran up to him, and grown adult men, but little kids specifically, like, Matt was like, oh my God, like, I feel so great. Like, this is so great. Nobody wanted to take a picture with me, but it's okay.
Well, they were just intimidated. That's okay. Well, we're working on time. I got to let you go because I know I promised James I'd get you out of here at a certain time so you could work one last time, I guess. And those that are watching, make sure if you watch this live, great, because you have one last opportunity to visit Nikki before she's gone. She'll be at the Cellar tonight. We have trivia. It starts at 6:30. So you got time to get there, bring your thinking caps, or just make fun of everybody. It's up to you. And you can get you some good drinks, including a Nikki's Old Fashioned, and to be for the last time tonight at the Cellar. So I do want to thank you, Nikki. I guess I should have let you tell people where they could find you on Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff.
Oh, I have all of the social media, I think, except for TikTok. I don't know how to work the TikTok machine.
Oh, okay. That's a good thing. You shouldn't read their terms of service. You probably shouldn't use that. But it's just under your name. They look up your name and they'll find
Nicole
you.
Gamblin, or, like, I think my Instagram is under, like, Jordan Nicole Gamblin.
Cool.
All 12 of my names.
I got you. Yeah, and Josh too.
Yeah, my name's also Josh.
Well, I wish you and Matt the best of luck on
you.
your adventures, and I hope some of them bring you back to us.
Oh, we'll be back.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I know you've both got family, so here.
Well, yeah,
so.
I've never been away, like, from my family like that, so, like, this is home for us, even if it is just little old Tipton County.
Yeah, I like it. It's definitely got its pluses. Yeah.
I have a job here.
Yeah, that's right. Well, thanks again, and thank you guys for watching us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us across podcast and social media platforms. We're also available on TikTok, where I give legal advice, and Josh does dances with pandas and stuff. It's great. I do want to remind you our 100th episode is coming in October 11th, and we'll be doing fundraising and have a bunch of different guests. So hopefully if you guys do follow this, you'll watch us live some. I'm hoping to raise some good money for charity that day. Michelle Allen, we want to thank her. She's our longtime Cry-Like Realtor go-to sponsor for buying, selling, renting, leasing real estate. Any of those issues, she'd be glad to help you. And, of course, Mason's High Octane Martial Arts has been open since '93, creating black belts and kicking lawyers alike. If you're interested, just go to masonsmartialarts.com or give us a call. We'd be glad to have you join us. And then the Cellar Restaurant Prohibition Bar is located off the square in Covington, Tennessee. I will be there shortly. So will Nikki. And hopefully we'll see you. We have Tuesday night trivia, Friday night live music. Make sure on Fridays and Saturdays you call. We also just started ladies night on Thursdays. So if you want to come in, you get some discounts. And then, of course, Masonite Digital Marketing. Josh is glad to help you with your online branding presence. We'll be back, I think, live next Tuesday. And
yeah, we've got Mr. Anthony Maness. I think that's how you say his last name.
Maness.
Yeah,
Anthony Maness. Cool. Yeah, Anthony fought on some of I think he still holds the Guinness World Record as the oldest kickboxing world champion. But that'll be cool. Me and him talk about a lot of good stuff. He was back in the day when I was doing the fight promotion. So, anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you have a good rest of your week. Keep kicking. Thanks for watching, guys. Just remember that this is not legal advice or investment advice or business advice. This is for fun and entertainment purposes only.